So recently I came across this new feature in Roblox Studio, the Roblox Assistant, or whatever they call it. What it basically does, you can ask an AI, for example, make the base plate touchable and make it a different color or something, and it will actually script that for you. And if I just accept this, it just puts it into the script and it actually will work. So if I now spawn into this and touch the base plate, it turns red, just like I asked. I did no scripting, nothing at all. I just asked it how to make it and stuff. But I also noticed this explain code feature. And what that basically does is it just explains what code actually does. But in this example, it's kind of simple, you know, it's pretty straightforward. It even made it itself, so it's not that special, you know. This is easy to explain. So I want to see how far I can push this AI. So here we have a menu I made for a game that isn't out yet at all. This menu actually has quite a lot of functions and scripts and whatnot. So I want to see if the AI can explain what it actually does. Now you can see that I actually already made some comments here, so this should be easy for the AI to do. I'm just going to select the entire script and I'm gonna click explain code to see what the AI actually says. Now while this is busy, please subscribe to the channel. I may do more experiments like these if you guys enjoy it that much. So let's see what it made here. It basically is taking my comments and actually reading them, and let's say this is like a section for the player. It actually realizes that this is a section for the player and the mouse and whatnot. So it can actually be pretty useful when there are comments. And it actually noticed, without seeing that this is like a menu and whatnot, that just based on the scripts, this is probably a menu. So here it says overall this script is responsible for setting up and animating a game menu in Roblox. Then again, this is pretty straightforward as well because there are comments here. So it basically already does the job itself. So here we have another menu I made, and this script actually has no comments to it. So let's see if the AI can actually explain this. So I already see that it's not doing it like before with all the sections I made, because this is pretty messy and whatnot. It's just not looking pretty, you know. Already see that this is like more messy. It's trying to explain the surfaces and whatnot. Let's see if it actually knows that this is a menu script. And again, this AI knows that this is a menu because it says the script is designed to manage the main menu and game start sequence in a Roblox game. It even notices that the image that I made actually responds to the sound. There's like music in the background. This image is actually responding to the loudness of that sound. So menus can be pretty easy to notice and recognize through code, but let's see what it actually does with something more advanced. So what this basically does is when I press on Q, it puts items in the workspace that would be in the past and stuff, and after the countdown ends, it should put me back into the present and the part is now gone. So let's see if the AI can recognize that this script actually is about time travel. So here's the script that handles everything, and it's pretty bad. Like there's script.parent stuff, there's basically no variables and whatnot, and it uses a lot of loops instead of tween surface. And there's also no comments. So let's see if the AI can actually recognize what this does. There is, however, a print function that literally says travel, so that should give a hint to like to time travel. So let's see if the AI can actually recognize this. So what I already noticed is that it's trying to explain the variables first, which I do understand, because if you don't know what the variables mean, then you don't know what the code means. So it actually does mention the transition to the past, and I think that's just because I put the text of the text label to the past. So it does recognize that there's a transition because of the for loops, and then it's also recognizing that it's about some sort of time travel thing. It's time related because it also says transition to now. So let's see what the summary says here. This script creates a visual and auditory transition between the two states, past and now, and GUI elements to enhance the player's experience during the transition. I think the AI is only being able to recognize this because of the print value and like the changing of the text. So I do see the summaries struggling a little bit here, but the code explaining is actually pretty good because it does explain what the values mean. Now for the final test, I want to see if the AI can actually recognize that this code does absolutely nothing. Before we had like themes about time travel, if it was a menu or not. What if we just make a script that doesn't have a theme, that just does random stuff? Does it actually explain it the way it used to before, or does it just explain it in general? So I'm just gonna put this script in server storage and I'm just gonna type some random stuff. So let's begin with like the most random variables like debris. So we get the surface debris and we will get like the insert surface or something. Let's actually make a remote event. You know what? I'm not even gonna do anything with the remote event. I'm just gonna have it there. I'm also gonna put this variable in, but because this game isn't published, you need a setting for this, so it won't work. So I'm gonna see if it recognizes that it's not being able to be used. I actually made a human error and put this into server storage instead of server script service. I'm just gonna put a GUI in a workspace because why not? I'm also gonna make this variable say text label and it just being a text button just to throw it off even more. And just like before, because it recognized that the text said passed, I'm just gonna put the text to the same thing to see if it recognizes that. I also added the now text, so let's see if it just recognizes that this is about time travel somehow again. And for the last thing, I'm just gonna put random comments that just don't even make sense with the code. It would be really confusing because comments don't make any sense. Services don't have anything to do with anything. The remote event isn't even being called. This is just unnecessary, and I'm making a GUI in a workspace that won't even be viewed. So let's see if the AI can now explain this horrible code. And while we wait, please leave a like if you want to see more experiments like this. So again, it's recognizing that there are services, that's great. It's doing the thing again that the comments just are sections, so this is one section and it's referencing this section. And I gotta say that it is explaining the code pretty well. Even though the comments should throw it off, it just ignores those and it just explains it pretty good. So if I didn't understand what this meant, this is a pretty good explanation from the AI. Now, for the summary, which I'm most excited about, this code snippet demonstrates basic operations with Roblox services, JSON encoding and set loading. It sets up a simple GUI with a button that changes text after a delay. However, there are some unconventional practices such as parenting screen. Oh my goodness, guys, it even noticed that parenting the screen GUI to workspace doesn't do anything because it needs to be in the starter GUI. And also notices that this is a text button instead of a text label, as well as seeing that this is a demonstration to show what services can do. So it knows that this is not an actual script that needs to do things, it just is a demonstration. Like, is this AI just in my walls just watching me demonstrate this? All joking aside, this is pretty good from the AI. So in conclusion, I think this AI is pretty good at explaining things, especially if you're just starting out with scripting, because it can be very overwhelming with code like this and the code we saw before in the other game, where there's just a lot of for loops and whatnot, and it's pretty difficult to understand if you never have seen it before. But I don't think this AI is only for beginners, because this AI actually saves a lot of time for more experienced developers. Say for example, I just reference the server storage, it automatically corrects me. Or let's say I am really lazy and I have typed this code over and over again, I just want a loop and I just don't want to think about it anymore. I can just ask the AI, make a loop that changes the text every second. And as you can see, it just generates it for me and I can just accept it. So this is both good for beginners and advanced people. But I don't think we should fully rely on this. Not just because I'm jealous of this AI, but because I have also seen some errors before that it just was too advanced for to actually make. But for the simple things, for now, I think this is absolutely perfect. So I hope you learned something from this video. Make sure to subscribe and like if you want to see more experiments like this. And if you have a suggestion about something I need to make a video on, leave a comment down below so I can actually see it and I'll make a video about it. Thank you oh so much for watching.